How's it going, everybody? Isekai Sensei Sama, Brad here, along with Kermit D. Grog.
Hello.
We are bringing you a fast take. We just got back from seeing Dandadan. I hesitate to call it a movie, but we saw it in movie theater. So
It's in the vein of the Demon Slayer specials, but instead of it being two things you had already seen in a new thing, it was all new things, because this is a new series.
yeah, and you could definitely tell they didn't, as far as I can tell, they didn't do anything besides taking out the OP and ED from the middle episodes. There was very clear cuts where it was like, yep, that's the end of the episode.
Oh, I thought some of those were commercial cuts, but yeah, maybe they were. Now that I think about them, they were probably episode cuts.
So the first thing to get out of the way then is, if you were expecting to see a movie, this ain't it. Which I don't think any publications really.
No, I think everybody knew that this was supposed to be the first couple episodes. I mean, it is like the opening episode now of seasons for Demon Slayer, where it's like you can tell they have a little bit more budget. Well, we'll see what the budget means for the rest of the series then, but
yeah. So
very clearly just episodes put together.
Yeah. I'd say overall pretty good.
It's good. It feels like, I don't know how to put this. I was like trying to find the words and we weren't talking because we were saving it for this. It is good. I don't know if it is just because like I literally just read those chapters because I read ahead. These 3 episodes cover about the first 4 to 5 chapters of Dandadan, and I think they do a faithful job, but I think the tone is different than what I was expecting. And I don't know how much of that is then more informed by the fact of, before the movie started, we had to sit through like half an hour of ads and trailers.
There was this really weird thing. So, the standard anime movie thing where you get normal trailers first.
It's weird.
And then you get like a couple anime trailers.
You get one specific to the fact that you're going to like a special screening. So like usually you just get the ones for the special screening, but we got ads and both of those, and we were already there early, and that already started at like, I think it even started late.
Yeah.
To do those. And
then we thought we were finally going to get the anime, and then all of a sudden they just showed, it was like a 15-20 minute featurette about like the making
interviews with people, and it's like we have like, I literally leaned over to Brad and I said, I feel bad for the people because they're just showing chunks of the anime and talking about it, and it's like some of these people, like we read it, I know what's coming, but like some of these people haven't experienced this at all outside the trailer. Like, what are you doing? Like, you put this at the end.
You took to a little bit of an extreme where every time they would show like a clip,
I covered my face. Even if I knew what was going to happen, I didn't want to see it. I wanted to see it in its contiguous place. I'm here to see the movie all together. I barely watched one trailer and I said, I have enough. I want to go see this. I love Dandadan. This looks good. So like, I don't know how much of it was like, I was kind of teetering on my seat from like an hours of content that I just didn't care about. Also, I was cold because I was wearing shorts in a chilly theater. I don't know how much I can then base now off of like when Chainsaw Man started, and I kind of felt about the first couple. I was like, they weren't bad. There was nothing wrong with them I could put my finger on. They just felt.
The first couple episodes of Chainsaw Man were very depressing.
Yeah, they just like didn't feel like Chainsaw Man. They had a different tone to them, and then it settled in, and I'm like, okay, yeah. And I don't know if I'm just feeling that now, or I just had those biases of like I was cold and sat through a bunch of things where I'm like, where's the movie?
I will say, they, especially in the featurette, they really were hyping on the whole like, oh, this is a rom-com thing, and then like there was basically none of that in these episodes.
Well, yeah, the whole series, the series as a whole is a rom-com.
Yeah.
I continue to argue as somebody who's read more of it that this is a rom-com at spots. We just didn't, outside of the opening bit, we don't see more of that, but there is more of it. Yeah. I can state this with authority as somebody who's read ahead. But
so I think anybody who was going into that completely blind, was probably really confused.
I don't know. I don't know what people. I will say because the last one he did these was Spy Family Code White, which we were the only people in the theater.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very nice.
But that was an actual movie.
Correct. But this was one. The theater was fairly packed. Smaller theater because it's like one of the more high-end ones with all the big seats.
It was slightly less than half full.
Oh, I would have said more than that.
Mm.
though I guess I didn't look around a lot. There was at least over like a dozen people in there, and an admittedly small
Everybody
theater.
was very spread out, so it
True.
looks over half full,
Yeah.
but based on
More
my
than nothing.
guesstimation,
It's not just like, oh, 3 groups of people were in there. Like it was fairly vibing for a Sunday matinee. But I liked it. I think my current theory and why it feels weird is that juggling between horror and comedy, it's like way more towards comedy than horror. And I wanted like a little bit more spookiness. And some of that is also, I think, the Chainsaw Man thing of like one of Dandadan's strengths is its detail. Again, like Chainsaw Man. They're very related in that way. And like you can't do that in animation as much because like that's not how art works in movement. It's hard to do that. So like if a spice has to be taken out, a new spice needs to be put in. And I think it did. I think the visuals and the animation when it pops off hit. I think the comedy beats were done really well. I think in that regard, but I don't think the horror beats were done as well. I don't think some of this is the bias of I got to see the director talk about it beforehand, and there was the dual things of like your comedy chops are good, but I think your horror chops are bad, even when you tried to work on it. And I'd have to compare this to other like episode 1s against, because I don't think I've ever read a first chapter so close to seeing it, but like, and especially the next couple chapters, like, oh, that frame and that, like, it feels like it's a little too close to the manga. Like, it's more than a motion comic, but it feels like it, like, didn't leave the nest too much, but like, it's still good. I don't know.
The director did say in that.
He did. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if it's just that I noticed it more, but like, I don't usually remember that. And I know it's been like a week, and admittedly, like I listened to our episode this morning beforehand to like re-jog my brain. But it's like, oh, I remember that frame and that frame and that frame and that. And usually it's like, here's the big tent pole for like, here's the big, and like the big reveal frame of like the spooky dudes in the hospital and Turbo Granny in the tunnel, Turbo Baba, which sounds so much better, but you got to localize that. You can't just call her Baba. Like, just did not hit as hard, and I was really expecting them to hit.
The Granny one I thought was decent. I get what you're saying though. The creepy guy's reveal was, yeah, he specifically brought that up
exactly, and I was like looking forward to it because I thought, oh, it's going to be like the light. There's nothing there, and the light shines over them, and it's like there's a spot early where you like see one in silhouette, and I thought like that wasn't in the manga, and I thought that was really cool. So I was like really excited for this because like they're weird, like their vibe, like that whole scene's vibe was all wrong.
It wasn't bad.
No, like that's all. None of this is like
better.
Bad. It's all this is like the manga did this. It had more of a vibe and a flavor to it.
I did appreciate how little time they spent with the ripping her clothes off part.
Yeah,
they basically just did a few still shots in a row.
This is gonna sound weird, but like I liked the emotional uncomfortableness when I was reading that, and I wanted to experience that in motion. And like that was one of my things that like it felt like some of the horror teeth were taken out of it a little bit. Which like fine, like I guess that like we had our whole big conversation about the episode that it makes it more out of place. But I like that like emotional roller coaster of like I'm feeling even more so like actual like danger and horror. But like I get it. I'm not gonna hold it against it, but. I think that goes into, like, it's got better comedy chops than it does horror chops. And that's a directorial thing.
So I think that people watching it as individual anime episodes, you know, because that's what's going to happen now, I think it's probably going to be paced better for that. The idea of releasing it as, like, in, 3-episode chunk as a movie ahead of time, I think they need to stop doing that.
No, I disagree. I love these little special event things because it feels special. Like it's only this weekend or only these 2 weekends. Like we don't have appointment viewing anymore. So little moments where that happens again are exciting to me because it's not a thing we do anymore. We just go like, oh, it'll come out. I mean, it does come out then. We can just get on Crunchyroll then. But like, there's an excitement to go out to the movie theater, and there's other people there. Even if I don't want to interact with anybody.
No,
like,
I think
it's exciting.
We need more anime movies.
No, because they're not canon then. And then we don't want to see. There was a trailer for My Hero Academia movie, and I could not care less.
It's true
because it's meaningless.
But the Chainsaw Man movie is going to be canon.
Yes. And we're gonna go see it.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
It's gonna be awesome.
But it's essentially television. I mean, again, admittedly, in this case, it's this. But also, it's like, this is an unknown. I don't think you can start with, like, a movie, but I don't know. Everything's different. But, like, I think they saw the success of the Demon Slayer ones and are like, this is our big new tentpole thing. It's a different company, I think, but like they're like, let's try it. And
I just
like
don't
it.
I don't feel like it's paced right for what it was.
I mean, it's television. Also, it does not.
No, and that's the
I
thing.
shouldn't say it doesn't help. They do capture Dandadan's like breakneck pace, and I think they do that well. They cover the first 4 to 5 chapters, and it moves at a really nice, solid clip, which it needs to. There needs to be a certain like hurried movement to Dandadan. That's just how it rocks as it pops from thing to thing, and I think it gets that well. I loved the animation. Like I said, it loses some of the detail by virtue of having to be animated. So some of those big, like, here's the big Junji Ito page turn was a little lacking. But a lot of, like, other moments and especially, like, movement and character moments. Again, I come back to the big joke moments. Like, were genuinely really funny and put together. The action looks really nice. Color was fun. I'm losing my Whisper Guard. I'm too powerful. I don't know. Brad, what'd you think of the visuals?
I thought it was pretty good. Especially, as far as a
Sorry.
as far as just an anime that's going to be on television or streaming or whatever, I think they did a really good job with that. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of it plays out, or if they purposefully spent more money on those first couple episodes because it was going to be in theaters.
I think that happens. I think the Demon Slayer season openers always have that. You can tell there's a little extra budget and polish in them, I feel.
But Demon Slayer also puts a lot of work into all of their episodes.
Yes,
so.
but it's extra noticeable for the intros because they've been genuinely longer episodes with no cut. But I like it. They do the thing that I love the most where they can do comedy things where the number of frames something gets goes down to increase the comedy of it, and it reminds me of old like trigger stuff that they would do on like Kill la Kill and things, and that will always, and a little bit like the Tanjiro where it's like people get drawn worse in little comedy moments, and like I will never get tired of that. I love that to pieces. Yeah, I'm excited for Dandadan. I think I was in a not the best of mood when it started, and that's kind of what put me in a little bit of a funk on it. Because when I came out, it's like something feels wrong, but I cannot put my finger on it. Nothing was bad. I think it was just don't try to read the chapters directly before you go see it. I think you can only have a bad time.
Having only read the first chapter, I found it interesting the way that they were going with it from a story perspective. So I'm really interested to see more of the season.
Yes, I'm going to stop reading it and then just keep watching the anime and then probably pick it back up when the season's over. But obviously, by the time you're hearing this, you can't see it in theaters anymore because we saw it the last day it was released, at least in America. This being a Sunday, so
but you can watch it streaming.
I'm sure it'll be streaming on
soon.
Crunchyroll in no time. I mean, also just because we saw them, I think the actors for the two leads did a really good job. When I initially saw them in the interview, I was like, I don't think these two can do it. I don't think they're going to sound right. And then they sounded like they were really on point. They got the energy of the characters, and I really liked that. The intro's a bop. I'm excited to be watching that every week. I'm excited for the outro again. I got the ending is a smack in the face a little bit because you forget that you're not watching a movie and the arc doesn't have to end because they're building to a big confrontation you think is going to happen in the theater, and then it's like, nope, here's the outro credits with a character you technically haven't met yet. And I was just because I saw it, I'm like, is this like a bump? Like we haven't met this a thing hasn't happened yet for this character to show up, and I'm like, oh, it's the outro. It's over.
And then they had an after credits thing,
which is just the next part of what would have happened in episode 4.
But there was literally nothing after that. It just black screen, lights come up, and we were like, "Wait, what?
What just happened?"
But no, I would say overall, it was good.
Thumbs up.
Yeah,
buy stock in Dandadan. I think it's an easy investment. I think it's going to be a big thing. I say that all the time. Who cares anymore? I don't predict it. There's a reason why in Shonen Jumping the Gun we don't do will this live or not, because I have zero understanding of any of that.
This definitely looks to me like it could be the next Demon Slayer.
They're trying to push it as much, and you know what? I think it's just more than Demon Slayer. I think this is deserved. Yeah. I think this does cool, crazy, weird stuff. People love the occult and space and stuff like that. Throw a little Jujutsu Kaisen-y action in there. Throw a little rom-com stuff every now and then. It's got some type of like teenage kids, whatever, college age. Love it. Yeah. Sure. So, Dandadan. Buy stock.
So
get ready for the stage musical.
that'll do it for us today. Make sure you get subscribed. We're doing 3 new Shonen Jump series in 3 weeks.
As they drop.
The last one just came out on Thursday. Next one, we're recording right after we're done here.
Simul podcasting.
So make sure you get subscribed so you can check those out. And there's a new series coming very, very soon. We're recording it next week. So make sure you get subscribed. And yeah, we'll catch you later.
Wait, one more thing. I was disappointed that it was no longer gobble your schlong, that it was gobble your weenie. I was very disappointed by that. And I was just like, kids today just don't know what schlongs are, I guess, anymore. I thought that was very important to share. I felt that deep in my heart, genuinely.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everybody.